Hey folks, Les Mo here. Folks, this is all over YouTube and everywhere else, but I want to give you my take on it because you never ask. I tell you what, folks, we're living in a time where so many people have lost their stinking mind, especially our legislators. And like my new addition, my Elvis bust back there, kind of favors me, don't he? Best side right here. A dear friend of mine gave me that several years ago. I had to make some repairs on it. You see a little spot on the neck. That comes from Vegas. He told me he bought that in Vegas. And so anyway, he gave that to me. I'm an Elvis fan. And wrote my own song, Concrete Elvis. You can go on the Les Scamo page and find it after you dig through all my radio programs. But anyway, that's serious, folks. If you are a gun owner, number one, do not, I recommend never, and this, I never do this, never put anything, pictures of your firearms, pictures of your anything to do with firearms on any of these, Facebook, YouTube, any of them. All right, I wouldn't do it. It's nobody's business what kind of firearms you have, how many firearms you have, what kind of ammunition you have, how much ammunition you have, where you store your firearms, where you shoot your firearms. It's nobody's business. So, I just wouldn't put it on there. And, folks, that's just my advice. Only time I would put it on there is if I'm testing a specific weapon. But the ownership of that weapon, I probably never disclose that because it's nobody's business. And but you got to be careful about that stuff on these liberal websites. Now, folks, this is all over YouTube. But now Sheila Jackson Lee, she's another Democrat nutcase. And like I said, I know you've heard this before, but you're going to hear my take on it because you never ask. Like my kids say, Dad, I didn't ask for your advice. They get it anyway. Now, House Bill 127, also called the Shakia Firearm Licensing and Registration Act. Now, who is Sabika Shakia? I'm probably butchering that, but she was a student from Pakistan who was killed in a school shooting in 2018 in Santa Fe, Texas. And she was one of them killed. So it really irks me when they connect a dead child's name to these bills, when they politicize these kids that get shot and killed in these school shootings. It's not right. It irritates me, and they're hypocrites. They should not do this, and the parents ought to raise two kinds of cane when this crap happens. These people, these Democrats are using this deceased child to spew their propaganda, and this crap should not be allowed. If I was the parents of this kid, this wouldn't happen. What does this bill entail, folks? Let me just go over a few things. I don't want to keep this long. Listen to this. If this passes House and the Senate, you know Mumbles will sign this bill into law. But folks, this ain't no joke. They're after your firearms. They're after the Second Amendment. Every communist movement, there's two things they take from the people as soon as they can: freedom of speech and their firearms. And then the media joins in on that, i.e. Facebook, YouTube, Google, on and on, Yahoo, whoever. Okay, they join in on this mainstream media. What we're experiencing here is a communist move in this country. And they try to use, that's why they want to pack the courts with these judges that legislate from the bench. They want to pack out the Supreme Court, but what's the point? Okay, Kavanaugh, the woman, and Chief Justice Roberts. We have a liberal Supreme Court anyway, so what's the use in packing it? The Supreme Court is useless to interpret the Constitution as it is. So what's the point? And we got to fight this crap the best way we can. But the bill establishes a process for the licensing and registration of firearms. It also prohibits the possession of certain ammunition and large capacity ammo feeding devices, i.e. magazines. Okay. First, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, BATF, corrupt institution right there on its face, must establish 1, a licensing system for the possession of firearms or ammunition. 2, a registration for firearms. Even to own ammunition, you're going to have a license for 1 bullet or 1,000 bullets. In addition, the Department of Justice must establish and maintain a publicly, now this is what it gets worse. In addition, the Department of Justice, DOJ, must establish and maintain a publicly available database of all registered firearms. Did you hear me? The DOJ must maintain a publicly accessible list of all firearm registrations. So what are they saying? They're saying individuals, mafia, cartels, illegal aliens, criminals, your neighbor, your whoever can go on this database, find out what kind of firearms you have, and also you have to let them know where you store your firearms. Okay, so the thieves can target your house, can case your house when you go on vacation or when you run to Walmart. They can surveil your house and break in your house and steal your stuff before you can get to Walmart and back, because they got it on a public site on our own government. So what kind of insanity is that? This is pure insanity. This is how much they hate the Second Amendment. This is how much they hate me and you. They want us violated. They want our homes broke into. They want our ammunition and firearms to be stolen and sold on the black market to everybody and their brother, the criminals, so they can in turn use our own firearms against us. And why do I think that? Well, I tell you one reason why I think that, because the Democrats rejected an amendment to notify ICE and other law enforcement agencies when illegals are stupid enough to try to buy guns legally and they fail a background check because they're illegal in the first place. Okay, the Democrats voted that amendment down in this bill to notify law enforcement when people fail background checks. So what does that tell you on its face? I've preached and preached and preached this. The Democratic Party does not care about Americans. They do not care about America. They care more about illegals, globalism, the stupid climate change, and taking away your First and Second Amendments above everything. Their God is their power. Their God is their selves. They worship at the altar of deception, lies, and corruption. And they're targeting law-abiding citizens. Never has a law-abiding citizen ever went and robbed a bank, killed somebody, or harmed anybody just because they wanted their stuff. Never has a law-abiding citizen or a gun owner ever robbed a store with their firearms. I.e., keywords law abiding. Does that mean anything? It don't to the Democrat Party. Let me read on. Next, the bill creates licensing requirements for the possession of a firearm and ammunition. DOJ shall issue such a license if the individuals are 21 years of age or older. Different states have different laws on when a youth can take a firearm out on their own and go hunting. I'm 11, 12 years old. I'm out in the woods. I'm out in the fields, quail hunting, rabbit hunting, squirrel hunting, and nobody says boo to me. And I'm 10, 11, 12 years old, But this was 21 years old. And it's always rubbed me the wrong way. Excuse me. I'm sorry about that. It's always rubbed me the wrong way. When our government can draft an 18-year-old and send them to war to die for our country, whether it's legitimate or not, they can draft you and send you off to die in a foreign country. Okay, but in this bill, you got to be 21 years old to have a gun or ammunition. But even before this ever come along, it has always irked me that an 18-year-old, and I don't do either one, okay? However, when an 18-year-old is considered an adult, but they can't buy beer and cigarettes, and there's many things they can't do at 18 that they have to be 21, but yet they can go and die for the country. That has always irked me. I do not advocate for smoking. I do not advocate for drinking. I don't anymore. For 32 years have done any of the drinking. For 20 years almost, I haven't smoked a cigarette. However, if an 18-year-old wants to go buy a pack of cigarettes, okay, in some places, you got to be 21, if I understand it correctly. I ain't bought a pack of cigarettes in 20 years. But there's things that an 18-year-old can't do until he's 21, but he can go die for the country. That's bull. All right, I digress. 21 years of age or older undergoes a criminal background check and a psychological evaluation. Do you hear what I said? That you have to have a license, but you got to be 21 years or older, and you have to have a psychological evaluation to have a gun and ammunition. Who sets the ground rules for this psychological evaluation? Who makes the rules for this psychological evaluation? the same ones that wrote this dang bill. What are they going to put in there? If you're a mega fan, if you're a Trump supporter, they won't put it like that, but it's going to be all real nice sounding language. But if you're a conservative, especially if you're a Christian, you're going to be deemed a right-wing extremist, and you're going to be mentally unstable to handle a firearm. I see it coming, folks. If you're not a liberal of the liberal mindset, you're a right-wing extremist. That's what they're trying to do now. They're trying to tag every Trump supporter and every conservative as right-wing nut jobs, white supremacists. Okay, and you won't be able to own a firearm under these laws. And you think it's going to be free? They're going to jack the price up of these licenses so high you can't afford it anyway. And if you don't comply, okay, whoever they find out who's got, if they have their way, they're going to kick your doors open and take your guns and put you in prison. That's exactly what they want to do. And they'll use UN troops to do it if they can do it. These people are evil, folks. They're evil. And then they flood this country with illegals, over 100,000 of them already, or more. Okay? And they're already breaking into people's homes along the border states, demanding money, food, whatever, taking whatever they want from these innocent people along the border. It's already happening under this administration, and now they want to do this crap to us. Psychological evaluation completes a certified training course and has an insurance policy. Insurance policy, my honey. And who's going to sell you the insurance policy? Oh, it's going to be the federal government. They're going to, I'll let that earbud in. They're going to be the ones sell you the insurance policy for another astronomical induced price. Folks, this ain't no joke. It also outlines the circumstances under which the DOJ must deny a license. The individual was hospitalized with a mental illness. Once again, these tyrants is going to be the ones that write the requirements, the qualifications for this. There's all kinds of things they will stick underneath this. If you voice your opinion, if you have a Confederate battle flag, it's something they don't like. It's going to go under these qualifications, i.e. a right-wing conservative white supremacist, because you're a Trumpster, or you have a Confederate battle flag, or if you have roots to the South, if your parents are from the South, anything, they can throw whatever they want in this bull crap. Let me go on. I don't want to make this too long. It also establishes additional requirements for an antique firearm display license and a military-style weapons license. If you want to put your old muzzle loader over the fireplace, you got to have a license for that. Okay, a military-style weapon. That could be anything they want to define. Look at what they're doing. I don't need to go into all the particulars about that. All right, but military-style weapon. You know what that is, and that's bull crap on its face. The bill generally prohibits and penalizes the possession of a firearm or ammunition unless the individual complies with licensing and registration requirements. Further, it prohibits the transfer of a firearm or ammunition to an unlicensed person. You can't loan your firearms to your kids anymore to go hunting. You can't loan your gun to your daughter, okay, if she don't have a license that her life maybe been threatened by an ex-boyfriend or ex-husband, or your son or daughter needs a firearm so they can carry it for self-defense. Then there's no more loaning these weapons in between your family. Or I can't buy my 15, 16-year-old, my 21-year-old, 25-year-old son or daughter for Christmas. I can't buy them a weapon, okay, and just hand it to them for Christmas because they got to have a license. Finally, it generally prohibits and penalizes the possession of ammunition that is 50 caliber or larger, and the possession of the large capacity ammunition feeding device, a magazine, 20-round magazine, 40-round magazine. Folks, this is Sheila Jackson, Brain Dead Lee, and is the one to introduce this. And like I said, they turned down an amendment, get out of here, Nat, to notify law enforcement when the illegal fails a background check. And at least he ain't tweeting. He's not tweeting these old, vulgar, mean-spirited tweets. I can hear it now. Folks, this is Les Scamo, and that's my take on House Resolution 127. Simply because you never asked. Les Scamo out.